Hello everyone and welcome to the second workshop of the Autonomous Apes AI Trading Hackathon. So today's workshop will be from Germina. They work very closely with Recall, so there are going to be lots of gems of wisdom today. So I will invite Mike up to the stage and he can join us and give his workshop. So really excited to hear this one. I think Mike's just coming up to the stage right now. Hi, Mike.
How's it going?
Yeah, all good, all good. How are you?
Good. How are you? Excited to chat.
Excellent, great. Well, I'll take myself off the stage and hand over to you for your workshop.
Okay, great. I'll just be about to start that. Just give me one moment. Let it go on. Cool. Just new to this app, so just give me a second to figure out where the buttons are. Share screen. Share a screen. Screen 2. Okay, great. Yes, feeling like we're giving a talk now. Cool. Awesome. GM. Good morning. Cool. So yeah, excited for everyone. Excited to be here. Going to try to figure out the right amount of time to spend between giving my presentation and also through Q&A if there's interest and time for that. So I'd love to hold Q&A to the end, but at the same time, if anyone has questions, sort of just let me know in the chat, and that'll just help me understand and plan on the timing. And also maybe feel free to join any questions and share any questions that you have in the chat. I just want to for structural reasons and just for ease of presentation, do that at the end just for cogency and coherence. Thanks. My cat says hi and he's trying to eat some treats out of me, so let me get him going there. Okay, great. Cool. So the title of the workshop is From Zero to First Trade. So we're going to go over the recall quick start. And in the corner here is a QR code with a link to these slides. So feel free to take a quick screenshot if that's something you want to check out. I'll show the QR code a little bit later as well. Okay, great. So a bit about myself first, and just for some context. So I work with Germina Labs, and we're working with Recall to help developers understand and appreciate the Recall platform. And also currently what I do and what I have done is work in the Filecoin ecosystem. And so I'm a protocol engineer associated with Filecoin. And so there's a Ethereum virtual machine inside of the Filecoin mainnet consensus system. And what I do personally is I develop software to basically upgrade the EVM inside of Filecoin to make sure that because it's a parallel implementation, to make sure that it's in sync with Ethereum mainnet. So there's been new updates to the EVM, and I've been working on making sure that the Filecoin Ethereum virtual machine has those features. And also what I do is work with great companies, and so Recall, I've been helping to communicate and express how to build on top of their platform from a developer experience perspective. And so Germina Labs itself, we're a developer experience agency focused on Web3 ecosystems. So our background is from Filecoin, and also at the same time we understand Web3 and we try to communicate about it and help developers either start up from zero or build and use it. And actually, while I'm sort of giving some background, I created the Reddit, the web dev Reddit. And so I've always been really passionate about teaching people how to become developers. And I think in a way we're all developers are secretly self-taught. And I'm just happy to be part of the community. When I first learned programming, there was just a great bunch of resources, and I'm just really passionate about just spreading that wealth and joy. So Germina Labs, we work with multiple protocols across blockchain and AI, and we're partnering with Recall to make it easier to onboard and improve developer usability. And so our tagline for our working tagline, my working tagline for Germina Labs is we're helping Web3 native products grow from the ground up. And so we're helping companies germinate and blossom is our vibe. Okay, cool. So now we can really focus in on Recall. And so the Recall competition framework, so if it's not incredibly obvious, it doesn't use real funds. So if you want to join a Recall competition, you have no risk of using your own funds, and there's no real money that needs to be staked in order to enter into these competitions. And at the same time, though, there's seasonal challenges, and top performing bots win prizes. So you don't have to put your own money up, and you can win money. And as far as the core actions and activities of the competition, kind of the main loop is you can check your balance using the Recall APIs. You can fetch the price of different coins and tokens, and you can submit and execute a trade. And so what you want to do as a entry into the competition is execute a loop. And so between each part of this loop, there's other sort of research that you can do. Maybe you want to monitor Twitter signals. And so maybe there's a part of the loop that you're using Twitter, or maybe there's a Telegram group that you're connected into. But because Recall's API is programmatic, you can create this loop, and it's around submitting trades, checking your balance, maybe getting out of those trades and unwinding them. And so we're going to talk through sort of a main first version implementation of that loop today, and also open up and tease some of the ideas of how to improve that loop. But for practical reasons, we're focused on the main straightforward loop. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities also to talk about more advanced strategies, maybe even at the end of this talk, or also on Discord and in future events like this. So what we'll do today specifically is we'll obtain an API key, run a sandbox trade. That gets us verified for live competitions. And I think we'll do a couple other things too, but that's kind of the main goal. And also, this is modeled after the quick start tutorial on the recall documentation site, so docs.recall. And the goal is to get everyone just up to speed and get everyone the first step into the game here. So let me just open up another browser here. Cool. No, sorry. That's probably good. Yeah, this is just good enough. So the recall docs page, docs, docs.recall.network. On the wonderful sidebar here, we can just get into the quick start page. And this talk is meant to model and match that quick start page on purpose. So all good. I don't know how to hide this. Yep, there you go. Awesome. So just talking everyone through it, just so there's the second this second video to accompany this quick start. And again, if anyone's stuck at any point, there's some Q&A at the end. There's also a Discord that either someone from Recall, someone from Germina, or maybe just someone else who is a Recall user just like you might be super happy to help talk you through. So hopefully a lot of resources here, and hopefully no one gets too stuck. So the kind of first step really is to register for API access, and going to talk through this a little bit, but at the same time, I think this is pretty straightforward, and it requires, there's an email verification kind of loop that you need to do. So I'm going to show some of this, but sort of let that kind of stand on its own. So what you do need is MetaMask. When you run through this the first time and don't have MetaMask installed, there's different views that you get. There's kind of the setting up MetaMask, connecting your account for the first time type of stuff. So hopefully that doesn't snag anyone, but just kind of acting as if here. So I have this dev wallet, and I used some fun tool to make the prefix of the address of the dev wallet FOOD, food. And that's just a little fun game that I play. So I know there's no funds on it. It's just a for fun wallet. That's just make sure that I'm not using any paid wallets or any real money assets to do development and to do testing. But so I'm gonna follow the on-screen prompts here. My MetaMask is asking me to sign this message, and you can see that the message is associated with Recall, so we know that it's safe. We can inspect it, and this is all stuff in the last few years that MetaMask has added and the Ethereum network have added just for security and just good developer experience. So I'm connected, and I can view my agents here, click through, and the main thing is the API key. I'm going to attempt to not show my API key at any point during this talk, but you know, we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I'll also talk about key security a bit as we go. But hopefully this part of the sign up process is super smooth sailing for everyone. And so that's the first step, is to create an account and get a copy of your API key. And so it's basically a password for your trading account. So assuming that you have this handy, we're going to kind of move forward. And so here's where you start setting up your project. And so, cool. So I've basically run through that in this folder here. And so I have recall quick start I've created. And then yeah, so here we go. Just some good old Python requirements set up. Cool. So then what you want to do is create your .env file. And I'll just kind of leave mine alone there because it has my API key in it. Cool. So then what we can do from here is, let's see. Yep. Is create this trading agent file. So so this file, I'll just kind of very briefly give an outline for it. It's the same one shown here. And so what we do is we load your API key. And yeah, there should be copies of this available soon. Definitely. Thanks for asking. So the URL of the recall API gets queued up. And what we're going to do is buy wrapped ETH with US, I forget if it's dollar coin or USD Circle. I think USD Circle. And execute this trade on the recall network. And so the call happens, it goes through. If it succeeds, we print a green emoji check mark. And if it fails, we print an X. Awesome. So let me move forward here. So this is a similar explanation of what happens in this script. A little iced coffee for myself. So you create your account, and your account is funded with mock USD coin. And for your first trade, you turn $100 of your coin into wrapped ETH. Kind of just a few things just to repeat. You use the real token addresses of coins. So this is the real address of USDC. This is the real address of wrapped ETH. It's executing in a safe sandbox environment, but these are the addresses of these real tokens. So this is important and a little complicated sometimes, but Recall, I think, does the right thing and tries to make it as easy as possible. And if you never understand the nuance of this, then that's great. It's confusing. But when you say USDC 100, under the hood on the Ethereum virtual machine, these two contracts, they have integers, and those integers map to like decimals. And so like one USDC is 1 followed by 18 zeros. And the point is that you can have very minute 0, 1, etc. Bitcoin has a similar thing and kind of was the originator of that idea. and it's a whole unit thing. And recall, I think correctly, just says, okay, you use dollars and we'll deal with the machinery behind the hood. Awesome. No, thanks for that. Yeah, USDC. Each contract you can like query in the contract what the decimals are, and so yeah, wrapped ETH is 18 decimals, and I'm sure USDC is 6. Totally. And again, there's no real money that you're trading. You don't need to put up or risk any real money. And this first trade just lets the recall backend know that you're in the system. Awesome. Yeah, the chains we can get to. I can show you all a little bit later. But there's Solana and several EVM chains. Okay, cool. So yeah, I kind of ran through what this code looks like, and the slide just basically repeats that. So I'm gonna spare ourselves for a second. Totally. Okay, cool. So totally. Yeah, sorry. Just one person in the chat. Happy to just for a sec answer your questions. So these are the just show you what we're doing here. Yeah, so basically we're going using the quick start guide here as the model for this talk. So if you go to docs.recall.network, you can see the main recall docs page, and on the side here is quick start. And also we'll have a way to get this talk recorded, and at the beginning and end of the talk are also QR codes for my slides. Awesome. So I think now what we just do is run our program. Awesome. So we got our green check mark. Trade executed. I'm gonna run it again, and there's a really like just super useful command line tool called JQ, JSON Q, and it just makes things easier to read. Or oh, I see. It's mad at me. Okay, another tool uses actually. This should work. Oh. Okay, a little, live demo magic here. Oh, I see. Okay, well, we'll leave that alone for 1 second. Yeah, so going back and ignoring that. So here's what gets returned by the recall backend. So success true is really important, and you just want to make sure that that triggers when you're building your bot. And it just verifies the from the two the amount that was traded. Even shows your slippage, which is super cool. And so we'll just move forward. Okay, cool. So get balances. I just need to do one thing off screen with my API key. 1 second. Okay, great. Okay, so now here's kind of what I was going for before. I just had to load my API key. what happens here, let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, perfect. So here's an example of using, so I'm really into Bash and Linux and Unix. This is maybe really complicated or maybe very clarifying depending on what your background is. Either this makes a ton of sense or looks crazy. So no worries. So sorry, I'm just gonna get back, hit someone in the comments. I'm running Ubuntu at the moment here. I do run Mac sometimes too. I have a but this is on Ubuntu. This output is the same thing, but just a bit easier to read. And you can see what these trades are. And so, yeah, just again, just clarifying what this looks like. So we want to show some of the different endpoints here. So what I did was I made these little scripts here that just use the API in a very basic and deconstructed way for kind of this demo. So here I'm querying my balances. And so here's where the JQ tool, let me see if there's like a, it's just nice to know the name of something. JSON processor, and we won't know what the Q stands for. That's out of scope for this talk. But here we go. So when you first make your account, and this is actually kind of interesting, what happens is you have $5,000 associated across a few different chains. So Polygon is one of the chains. Base, Arbitrum, Optimism, Solana, SVM, maybe someone can remind me which one that is, yeah, Ethereum as well. And this is just a great way to visualize this JSON, but also to the point, this shows you your balance. So I'm just for now going to run through a really simple deconstructed way of looking at these queries, and then I'll show you where these queries live in the documentation site. And so, okay, so that's one of the API endpoints. And actually, I'm going to open up the docs page as well, just so we're kind of on the same page here and understanding. Here's the recall docs page, and this really should be your homepage for building your bot and understanding what the basics are and what the components are in terms of API endpoints and core concepts and where to get information. What we were just looking at is agent balances. So here is the documentation page for what we just showed about how to query your balances. Let's see. Yeah, it's easier on this wider screen. So this get command with your API key to this endpoint. And there's just, for convenience, generated code here for how to hit each of these endpoints. This is an easy way to get started. There's also all sorts of AI and other tools so that maybe this feels a little simplified or a little low level, but for the scope of this talk and just for getting an understanding of how the API works, this is a great way to kind of look and think of of this. So this first API query, getting your balances, corresponds to this page on the API reference, the agent's balance page. And this is what your result looks like. So for building your bot, you want to know how's your bot doing, and you want to be able to track its value and how it's doing. So using this endpoint and summing up across all of your coins and tokens across all the different chains is the way that you would want to do that. Okay, great. So then another super important API point is to get the price of a token. So you have your bot, it's maybe you have a credible way of, an interesting way of generating trading strategies. Maybe you're querying Twitter, maybe there's a cool Telegram integration, maybe you're doing analysis, quantitative analysis against trends, maybe as something goes up, you're trying to buy it, all sorts of like complicated, interesting things you can look at and think to do. But at the same time, you want to know like what's the price of this token. And so here we are. Cool. So here's an example. We're querying the price API, and the second argument here is token. And so what we're going to query is the Solana price. And again, and just so it's not kind of magic, this is using bash scripting. And so I have used the .env file to create an environment variable with my API key. And because this is in double quotes, bash replaces the API key. Sort of best practices, hopefully not too complicated, but also a little complicated. So I'm kind of showing, but also it's a little like, I've been doing this for a long time, so it's a little complicated. I don't want anyone to get caught up or stuck on it, but also have an idea of what's happening under the hood. Yeah, and Python is just great, and so is JavaScript, and they're more straightforward. So just kind of back at the API documentation here. This is, yep, so this is the example. And so, okay, there's my API key a little bit, only half of it. What we do is we query this endpoint and get this generated code. Let me just see if I can show you guys something. Okay, all good. Cool. So I just want everyone to know how that works. Sorry. Okay, there we go. And how to get the token prices using the recall API. Cool. And then the other kind of main API endpoint is the one that we started with, so the trading endpoint. And what we showed was this querying this endpoint in Python. And this is more of a reasonable way to write a program that executes this. And this is from the Quick Start tutorial. And yeah, I've ran this a few times. So I think we know what that looks like, but just for fun, here we go again. Awesome. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of bringing us through. Okay, I thought maybe I had another beat to hit, and I totally can actually. So yeah, the trading endpoint. So here on the API documentation site, we list all of the trade-related endpoints that you can hit. This is cool. So this just validates the price that you can get. So it's kind of similar to a price query. Be interesting for people to kind of explore that and see how that's different than the price endpoint. But yeah, I mean, JavaScript's like a great language for using AI and integrating other AI tools, as is Python. And it's this gives you just a snippet to get started. Yeah, we'll just kind of return to the quick start here. So we've copied this file over. We've run it now a few different times. We get our validation or verification, and that's running us through the quick start. Yeah, there's a link to these slides on this QR code, and there's kind of the next steps are just to make sure that you're comfortable with all this. Then on the documentation site, there is a trading guide here and a portfolio manager tutorial. This goes just a bit further. Shows you sort of some of the tools we went over. So checking token prices and executing your trade. Here's a bit more of a fully built out and thought through trading client. So we've just shown so far the atomic endpoints. No, thanks. I'm happy now. I'm going to get to questions in a moment, which is super wonderful. If you guys and anyone of any gender want to throw your questions down, I'll get to them soon. And so acknowledging and get to that soon. Appreciate the question. Yeah, and so the earlier example was sort of this one atomic make a trade. And so this is an example of a program that has a little more substance and a little more structure, and it runs through some more loops, and it more is a substantial starting to come up with this loop around thinking about what to trade, making the trades, maintaining your portfolio. And so here's an example that shows a little more of like a coherent in time trading strategy. So it's not just one like specific action. But so this is something that I think maybe won't win the competition for you, but is pretty like common in more default finance, or there's a better word I'm not able to think of right now, where you want to maybe manage a portfolio between 5% precious metals, 5% crypto, 60% stocks, and 20, whatever the remainder is, 30% bonds, and does kind of a regular rebalancing. So this tutorial speaks to how to do that. And what this code does is it queries the recall endpoint and says, okay, what we need to do is sell this and sell this in order to have an equal balance. Maybe it's 50% ETH and 50% Bitcoin. And so this implements like a more complicated, kind of thoughtful trading strategy. And this here as well is kind of another kind of more robust example. And then with AI, what you can do is in between this loop, maybe you have an interesting theory or an interesting thesis, like maybe you want new meme coins that are popular on Twitter and you find some cool way of having an AI get that data. So these give you sort of some of the atoms and some of the building blocks to bring all of that together. There's more tutorials, and there's more tutorials that we're building that involve querying like an LLM to execute this, maybe reading tweets and deciding if something's worth buying. But at the same time, there's sort of up to you, up to yourself to decide and run your own strategy. So yeah, I wanted to just kind of forecast that. And now happy to kind of just catch up on some of these questions in chat. And yeah, also just before I do that, just thanks for engaging in the comments. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And hope you all are enjoying this and find it a really cool learning opportunity, and also just an exciting platform to be a part of. So, okay, cool. Kenzo has a question. Are we to use the... Yeah. So I want to make sure I'm parsing your question right. But, so I see. You can, yeah, use whatever you want. Maybe you want to use like the weather. Maybe on cloudy days in Cincinnati, you sell ETH, and on sunny days in Florida, you buy Solana. But I think more specifically, what you might want to think about is how to leverage artificial intelligence to execute trades for you. I think that's likely an interesting alpha, an interesting strategy. And so what is cool about this portfolio manager example is that there's actually GPT integration in the code. And so what happens in the code is we send this prompt to OpenAI. So that's where you'd need your own API key. You need to source LLM access outside of Recall, but you're allowed to and encouraged to. But what the prompt is saying, hey, given this is my current structure, what should I do? Give me the new output. And you know how you do that and how you set that up is up to you, and I'd recommend keeping things simple and slowly building on it. As someone who's built software for a couple decades now, incrementally improving is the way to go. So if you're pretty new to building software that trades, pretty new to using AI to build software that makes trades, which is probably everyone, maybe some special hedge fund people, not so much, but building it up in stages. So starting with the quick start and just getting this to work is great, and kind of just iterating from there, and just making sure that any one change or any one step that you're taking to your software is just one step. So if you want your software to do 5 things, figure out and organize how to make it so you can do the first thing, then like take a break, and then like do the second thing and take a break, and do the third thing, have it not work out the way you want, and then go back to just the code that worked with just the first 2 things. And incremental, non-breaking changes, important type of, yeah, good development practices to like acknowledge that it's hard, acknowledge mistakes are going to be made, and work through that and support yourself through that. Cool. So yeah, someone in chat, I don't think I'm doxing you by calling you Fox, is asking a great question. When you make a trade, how does that work in terms of finding the best route, in terms of knowing what chain to trade on? So there is a great question there. I think that I had one script that made that a little clearer, but yeah, no, that's a good question. So the trade API endpoint balances. So yeah, oh, I'm just oh, cat balances. So when you run balances, what we do see is like the specific chain that your balances are on, and what those balances are. Now when it comes to slippage, when it comes to how the chain is identified of where to make that trade, honestly, only so aware of some of these nuances. I think that that is a good question. I think that I've personally been more sort of focused on actually the documentation side itself, building up some of these examples. I think that's a question I don't know the answer to at the moment. I think maybe there's either a clear answer that we can get you later, and also maybe there's some interesting way to use that competitively in the competition. Maybe there's a default strategy, and if you use the right endpoint here, yeah, okay, so actually, here's now the answer. So when you execute the trade, and thank you documentation, thank you API, there's these different terms that go into sort of what your question's about. So the two chains that you're trading on, your slippage tolerance, I think that gets you pretty close to understanding and being able to make sure that that you're modeling all of that you're modeling the route. I don't know what like DeFi protocol they're using. I don't think that you can specify a specific route, but maybe there's something super interesting there that you want to follow up on. Maybe there's a cool arbitrage bot that you want to buy that the current API doesn't yet support, and maybe that is a great sort of feedback that you're thinking about, and maybe the recall team can get that going in a future release and a future competition. And sort of like what you're asking about are sort of not quite first order effects of this is the price, I bought it yesterday and it went up and I sold it today, but actually these like second order effects, if I buy on this network and sell on that network, how does it get modeled? And I think that, yeah, there's a lot to your question, and I hope I answered it part of the way. And yeah, I think that's some good ideas there. Totally appreciate the question. So I'll just hold a sec if any more can come through. Awesome. And yeah. Yeah, you got it. Happy to help. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. Really good talk, and really good answers to those questions. So if there are any questions that anybody has later on, or you sort of think of one now and don't have quite time to answer it, then the Encode Discord is the place to ask. I sent a link to that earlier, and the advantage of that is that not only do you have access to us, but you have access to the entire recall team, who will be on hand to answer any technical questions that you might have. Just to answer a really quick question again that I answered in the chat, but a lot of people have had this question. If you are looking for workshop recordings, you can find them in the Hacker Pack. There's a link to that in the chat, and you should just be able to find it by looking up Recall and Encode on Google. Hopefully it'll come up. Otherwise, you can find it through our website. So yeah, I think we'll end the workshop there. Thanks very much, Mike. That was really good. And
Awesome.
looking forward to seeing people's questions.
Awesome. Cheers. Thanks. Hope everyone enjoyed and appreciate all the questions and responses in the chat.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.